Welcome to the first day of design and modeling. We're going to start with some of the basic class expectations. I use Bluetooth to monitor iPads at all time so that each person can have their own personal space. I use it also to help regulate basically if you get into something that you're not supposed to when we're supposed to be working on a lab. Where I basically can change your iPad back to your Canvas screen, but I use that as a quiet way to notify you. So Bluetooth should be on at all times. You should double check that when we get onto your iPads here in just a little bit. Water bottles are permitted in the room, but I ask when we use the electrical equipment and also when we go to the computers that we kind of keep the water bottles at a distance from that to make sure that we don't have any accidents with spills. During class, basically, since we're working in a lab setting, we're not going to have any eating of things. If you have gum, it's fine as long as it is in your mouth before you come into the classroom. I don't want anybody passing it out or it being a distraction. When you come in each day, the items that I want you to have with you, always have your iPad. There are chargers available in the room should you need to charge, so leaving it in your locker because it's not charged is not something I want you to do. Bring it with you. Have something to write with, and then also have a book or other homework, something you can do once you are done. You're going to hear me often say when you finish the work for my class early is to find something else academic or school acceptable to be working on. The only things that I will let you work on outside of coursework are your typical working on other classes work, reading, writing, drawing is fine. The only games that are allowed are typing style games because typing is a STEM skill. And then word work style games, crossword puzzles, things like that are allowed. Other than that, don't just open YouTube. Make sure you are working on something else once you're done. So have in mind what it is that you would like to be doing once you do finish coursework. Please make sure that earbuds are out when you go to start class. There will be times that you do get to listen to music, but I want to make sure that those are out and you're ready to go and not just in as soon as you're given time to work independently. As you enter the classroom, I have the pocket chart on the door for you to be able to put your phones in. So make sure that you do put those in there. And you're going to leave them in there all the way until the bell rings and class is dismissed. So later, once we start building in robotics equipment, don't grab it as we're cleaning up our robotics equipment. I want to make sure that those are there till the bell rings. I don't assign you a number, so just pick a number, put it in there, and then grab it on your way out. Again, don't pack up early. Make sure that you are working until the bell, keeping your focus, not distracting someone around you, and definitely not lining up at the door. A little bit of info about me. I've got 14 years of teaching experience prior to this year, so this is my 15th year. The majority of my background is in teaching middle school and high school math and science. I did the certifications for the Project Lead the Way classes at Purdue. And I have my elementary license, but I don't use that other than what we have here in the building as far as it going down to some elementaries are K through 6. So that is the only use of it. But again, had to have those certifications from Purdue, though, to be able to teach the 3 different classes we have here for Project Lead the Way. I have one son. His name is Stone. He's in 5th grade. He absolutely loves baseball. He does play basketball as well, so we're kind of in that season now. But he's most excited. Baseball is his absolute favorite. He played for a team out of Greenfield, the Indiana Bandits, in the previous years. But this year he is going to be playing for the Indiana Bulls. So we'll be spending quite a bit of our time at Grand Park this summer. He definitely stands out for a 5th grader. He started his 5th grade year at 4 foot 11 inches. He is actually he's actually above the 5'3" I have on the screen. He's actually 5'3.5" inches. So he's grown about 4.5 inches since the start of this school year. definitely stands out a little bit taller than most of his peers. As far as the grading goes for this class, you're going to have 70% of your grade coming from your labs that we're doing here in the classroom. We'll have a couple different quizzes. Those will account for 20% of your grade, and then the bell work items and the intro stuff will count for about 10% of your grade. No matter what PowerSchool code you see, whether you see the LS for low score or NHI for not handed in, you can submit that work all the way until the very last day of the quarter. So most classes will allow you to not submit work after you have taken the unit test for that specific unit. That is not the case for this course. You are able to submit your work all the way until 4 p.m. on the last day that we are in the course. The only thing is you're going to have a penalty of a 10% deduction. So again, make sure you're checking in any of the times that you are out sick or if you're out for an appointment. Whether you check in person or in an email, it's going to be important because some things you'll have to come to the classroom to make up, and other things you will be able to make up outside of the classroom. So we have 3 main units. Our first unit that we'll start in is our introductory unit, and it's about 3 weeks long, roughly. So we're going to look at where we're using robots, how we're using them, what is it about communication that we need to do to make sure that it is clear and to the point and easy for somebody else to understand. We're going to look at how robots basically have changed over time, how they're affecting what we do in our daily lives, and then also where they're being used in systems around the world. After the unit of introductory stuff, we will get into building, and we'll spend the majority of the quarter working in small groups, building in our robotics kits. So we will do a little bit of the design process review from 6th grade. You will be sketching different designs prior to building. We'll be working with different gear systems, and we'll build those first so that you can kind of learn how the parts are assembled and what types of gear systems we have. And then you will be working to build a windmill. And when we build the windmill, we're going to be then looking back to those gear systems that we've built and kind of determining what ratio we can put gears together to make it slow. Our last unit is going to be our automated systems unit, where we will look at programming in a couple different programs. One is Robot C. The other is VexCode VR, which we will be using when we program our final lab, which is our dragster or a car. We'll look at code behaviors and pseudocode, all things that kind of wrap up what it means within those different coding programs and how they're used. And again, that final creation, you'll be going back and kind of drawing on your different skills that we've built during the quarter, both in programming, in building, but then also your general idea of what you would need to do to assemble a car and what mechanism will make it basically work the fastest.